Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're an old subscriber and you've been here for a while, you might notice that we're doing things a little bit differently. So we decided that the way we were filming videos, it just wasn't working out for us. We're both kind of introverted people by nature, so for us to be able to go out into these public places and really film and at the same time give you an honest, thoroughly thought out like thoughts of the place was really difficult for us to do. So we really hope that you like this new format, and we did take into your ideas and the kind of things that you wanted from the poll that we recently had. So we really hope that you guys like this new format. So I know T wants to say a few things about the city before we get into our video. So I'll let her do that.
All I wanted to say is Georgia, and particularly Tbilisi, became our first home. Eventually, we are going to move out from this amazing city, and today we are going to speak about what we are going to carry in our hearts throughout our life. And it's our neighborhood, the place that we are living by accident because we Airbnb this place. And how did we get into this neighborhood? We're going to speak today about it, also showing you our surroundings.
So the coolest thing about where we live is right outside of our door. We live next door to two old churches. We live next door to a Russian Orthodox church and a Georgian Orthodox church. And these places are just absolutely beautiful. Every time we step outside, I'm blown away by the old architecture. I'm blown away by just the feeling that these two old churches bring to the neighborhood. At night, the top of the Russian Orthodox Church is just brightly lit up in this purplish blue light that's absolutely beautiful to see. One of my favorite things is Sunday morning, waking up to the church bells. Wouldn't you say so?
Exactly, that's what I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
What's the first thing that we hear every morning?
Yeah, every Sunday morning, the first thing that we hear are these church bells. And then as we walk along this beautiful path between these two churches, there's an older building. And inside of this building is where the priests go and they sing. And it is some of the most beautiful music I've ever heard in my life. It's so peaceful.
We are very lucky to live in just 2 minutes away from a very beautiful park called Vera Park. And I want to say, guys, that this district is quite old. There is old architecture, old churches, as Mish mentioned, but also there are people living here for many years. This community is already settled up since long ago, since the very Soviet Union.
Yeah, I think my favorite thing about the parks is that like every evening, me and T, we like to take an evening stroll through the park. And sometimes we do it like during the day. If we are leaving the house to go grocery shopping or to go run errands, we definitely go through the park. And one of my favorite things is, especially in the evening time, is seeing all the families and all the young couples in the park. I love seeing that, just like seeing people hold hands and sitting in like park benches and stuff like that.
And we feel that we can relate.
Yeah, definitely.
We look so much like locals here. Every time leaving our home, and we see the same faces because it is neighborhood and people are getting closer to each other altogether.
Yeah, I think that's like the coolest thing is that you can be from like most of these things that I see every day. They're pretty Culturally, they're very different from, growing up where I grew up at. But the one thing that remains common is like this closeness of being in a neighborhood. And that's just something that's just universal that you feel no matter what. Like we can go walking throughout the city and there'll be a certain point where I don't feel comfortable anymore. I do feel anxious and I do feel that tension of being out in the city, that normal amount of anxiety and tension. And when we come back home, there's also that relief of that easing of anxiety and tension that you get from when you're not, from when you're getting closer to home, when you're in your neighborhood, when you're in like familiar surroundings, when you are seeing like the same people over and over.
There is no dust anymore. There is no car noise.
Yeah.
No, like people hustling and bustling
Yeah.
around. Yes, it is extremely quiet, and one of the brightest symbols of Tbilisi, of the entire city, is animals, especially cats. And our neighborhood is just like a business card of all the cats like living here around us.
Yeah, ever since we've been living here, you see the cats and the kitties on the side, on the street, and you just, your heart just can't help but go out to them. And so we started, at first we were just giving them some of our food, and then we got to a point where we bought, like we would go to the grocery store and we would buy extra sausage
Yes.
just to give to the kitties. And then we got to the point where we were just outright buying cat food. So, all the kitties have gotten to know us pretty well, and we've named a few of them. But
Yeah, we did.
but I can't mention the kitties without mentioning this very sweet babushka. She is just the nicest lady that we've ever met. Her eyes are some of the like sweetest and most innocent eyes I've ever seen in a human being. We had an opportunity to talk to her the other day, and she has been feeding these stray animals for like the last 15 years. She feeds them every day, and she's been doing it for 15 years. She said she used to do it twice a day, but recently, I think just because of the heat, the
Yes.
kitties haven't been coming out during the day, but they definitely come out during the afternoon, and that's when you'll see her. And she's just a sweet little grandma, and she has like 3 or 4 bags with her, and they're full of food for the kitties. And she does this on her own. She cooks this food for the kitties on her own. She buys like different extra food, and she just cooks for the kitties. And then she goes out and she makes it a point to try to look for every kitty that she can find to feed them and take care of them. So I think that was one of the like the
Yeah.
coolest, most humane, most
Yes.
sweetest things I've ever seen. So
Her name is Babushka Valentina. It's easy to recognize her because she's the only granny feeding cats here. If you're ever in Tbilisi, you can come and say Matloba.
I think the biggest thing that surprised me about the streets here in Georgia and Eastern Europe in general, and having already traveled to Ukraine, I was kind of like, I had this typical setup of what I thought another Eastern European ex like Soviet country, how the streets would be, how they would be formatted and laid out. And when I got to Georgia, particularly the neighborhood where we live, it blew my mind. There are parts of the neighborhood streets where we live at where I feel like I'm walking down an old street in New Orleans. And I do. Like when you're walking down the street, there are certain times where I see like the overhang of like gardens and stuff like that, and the balconies, and this old architecture. It's not exactly Soviet, and it's not exactly Western European. It's somewhere of its own unique style, but I do get that feeling that I'm walking down like a street in New Orleans. At the same time, there's portions of the street where I'm walking by, and I feel like I'm in like certain parts of Italy. Like it feels like I'm in Italy just because of like where we're walking at and things like that. Now I know like if you've been to Italy or if you're Italian and you're watching this video, you're probably like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. And like I apologize for that. I haven't been to Italy. It's definitely on my list. Me and T would definitely love to go to Italy one day.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying from the overall feeling that I get when I'm walking along certain streets, that's the feeling that I get from it. Also, the other thing that I absolutely love is that when you're walking down the street, it's almost like in any moment you can see just a small square that you can take a picture of, and it's just the most like beautiful landscape that you've ever seen, and it could pop up in any moment. Like that, it's so crazy to me.
You started talking about New Orleans. How do you remember this jazz band playing in our favorite nearest cafe?
Yes.
Every weekend,
Yes,
jazz
so
band.
every Thursday there's a jazz band that comes and plays at Vera Garden. So you've heard T say that the park that we live nearby is called Vera Park. Well, inside of Vera Park there's a cafe. It's one of me and T's favorite places to go.
Right.
It's called Vera Garden, and every Thursday they have a jazz band come by, and it is good jazz. It's not like these guys are like wannabe jazz musicians or these horrible jazz musicians, or it's like jazz with no soul. No, this is honest to goodness, really good jazz music. The setting for this restaurant is so unique and cool to me because there is no indoor seating. Everyone sits outside. So it's almost like you're eating like in this like courtyard. And that's where you sit. And so the jazz band sound is even fueled more because you're in an open air restaurant that's in one of the centers of the city. So not only do you have this beautiful jazz music that's playing, but you get these ambient sounds of the city passing by, like horns, honking of horns, people talking.
Waiting for bus,
Yeah,
buses.
there's a bus stop right nearby the restaurant, so it's near a bus stop. So all these noises and all the sounds of the city combined with this jazz music put in this courtyard setting, it's almost like this perfect orchestra for like this beautiful night out, you know?
Right.
So I think it's absolutely amazing and I love it.
When I first heard jazz music, even I felt that I am again in New Orleans, which I carry memories about in my heart.
So I think the other coolest thing about where we live at is that we live 2 minutes away from, hopefully I get this right. Obviously a Georgian restaurant, 2 Thai restaurants, a Cuban restaurant, an Indian restaurant, and an Iraqi restaurant, along with 2 coffee shops, a bakery, a bread store, and a Chinese restaurant. This is all within 2 minutes. You could just walk there 2 minutes.
Of course, there are also grocery stores around, and we cook. We do cook homemade food sometimes here in our kitchen, but it is just amazing feeling to remove and to forget you're cooking for evening because you have such a great variety of choices. Like, where we want to go today? Do we want Georgian food? We eat Georgian food every day, so sometimes we need some variety. Okay, today we go to Thai restaurant. Okay, nice. We just go because it takes, and I can put on high heels or dress or whatever because I know that my road to this restaurant is gonna take 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's so easy.
It's a Thai tea that we just picked up from the store we mentioned.
Yes, the Thai tea here is very good. There is boba tea here, so all you boba tea lovers, there's boba tea here. The coffee is amazing. There was this RAF coffee, and I've been trying to try this RAF coffee for the past couple of days. And if you know me, you know I'm a coffee lover. So for me, not to be able to try a coffee successfully within like 3 days is something pretty big. But we've just had terrible luck at every place we've gone to. But we definitely recommend, out of these restaurants that we've gone to, we definitely recommend the Chinese place and this Najima Bakery coffee and Thai food. If you go there, make sure you tell Oak hello.
Oak, hello. Yes, Tbilisi is the place where I first tried Chinese food and Thai food, made by real people from China and Thailand.
And it'll probably be the first place where I try food from Iraq, because I haven't been able to find any Iraqi restaurants
We also tried Turkish
in
food.
the U.S. Yeah, but we've tried Turkish food before, baby. Yeah.
Ah.
So, and I've tried Cuban food before, but food from Iraq or Iran, I've never tried that. So it'll probably be my first time trying those two cuisines here in Georgia, especially since they're like 2 minutes away from my house.
I knew that Tbilisi is a melting pot. There are so many nationalities. To me, it's a multinational society. Multinational society.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
definitely true.
And multiracial society.
Yeah, that's definitely true. There's an old joke. An American, a Russian, a Ukrainian, a Persian, a German, and a Frenchman walk into a bar. The bartender says "Gamarjoba" because you're in Georgia. So this neighborhood has really taught us a lot about what we want in our permanent home, and some of the things that we're going to look for. So our next home has big shoes to fill. This neighborhood is just nothing but lovely for us. We absolutely love it here. We love seeing the familiar faces. We love seeing all the familiarity that we see whenever we're coming home from running errands or
Somehow-
doing things in the city.
Yeah.
And it's just so beautiful for us if we can find anything like this or anything close to it in our next home. I think we're going to be super happy about all of that. So, yeah. What do you think?
Somehow, our neighborhood helped us to get into our daily routine. We got familiar with all these places very fast, and we never felt any discomfort. This coziness, warm weather, of course, friendly people, everything just helped us to feel as comfortable as possible here, like not even like we're in vacation, but like we're locals.
Absolutely. The people in our neighborhood are absolutely awesome. I remember one day we were trying to find, we saw a sign for a grocery store that we were trying to find, and we couldn't find it. So we asked, and 5 people jumped out of their chair to try to help us. We were just overwhelmed with kindness and this spirit of helping. So,
Эй, да, здрасте. Да, нормально. Хорошо. Just saw familiar face there because they saw us making the video
yeah.
at the window. So, what are these guys doing? So, if you like our video, guys, please subscribe and give us like because it really helps to develop us in our YouTube, and we are going to show even more interesting videos about other interesting places. Wherever we go together, we take camera with us.
Yes. All right, guys. Let us know what you think about the new video format. If you like it, or if you don't like it, or if you think that it's worse than what we were doing before, just let us know what's up so that way we can try to improve and make better videos for you guys. Thank you so much.
Subscribe to Mission T. Ciao.
Thank you so much, guys. We'll see y'all later.